Hey Team Shuckle, what is up? Welcome to the first episode of Team Analysis Tuesday. If you've been on my channel for a while, you'll know that we originally had a series where we built teams live and through Showdown, but you know, I didn't really like the format. I think it was a little boring, to be quite honest with you, so I decided to drop it. And you know, I really miss doing something like that, so I decided to do, you know, with all the things like X-Rays Ovation and Cybertron VGC, you know, they uploaded their analysis of their teams, and you know, got me thinking, why don't we do that too? But instead of just doing it for the World's team, why don't we just do it, you know, in general and for a while? So that's what we're gonna do, and that's what this is gonna be. So what it's gonna be is just gonna be like the 6 Pokemon in detail. As you can see, it's like the moveset at the top. The bottom left is some notes about the moveset, like why it's specifically like that. The bottom right is Showdown replays that will be, you know, showing the team off. And also in the description below, because I'm usually not the greatest with EV spreads, so in the description below will be links to where I got the EV spreads and, you know, their reasoning for their team and stuff like that. So let's get started. I'm going to hit play right quick, and we're going to get right into the Politoed. So Politoed, you know, obviously for a rain team, I wanted to bring a rain team, and this is my World's team. The reason why I wanted to bring a rain team was because I watched Nationals, and a lot of people seemed really threatened by rain. It seemed to be like the best play to make, so that's what I did. I brought rain, and you know, I sort of do regret it, but long story short, you know, this is what I brought. So I started off with Politoed because, you know, it is a rain team, so it needs at least some form of automatic rain, and Politoed is definitely the best for that. As you can see, I went for Protect, Scald, Ice Beam, and Encore. The reason I went for that is because I felt Encore would be a little bit better for support than, you know, scarfing the Politoed. I didn't really have any reason to scarf this Politoed. I had pretty decently fast Pokemon on my team already. So yeah, and as you can see, you know, it one-hit KOs Garchomp with the Ice Beam. It survives Mega Kangaskhan's return, and you know, Citrus Berry really helps with that. And it also survives Mega Maneceric's Thunderbolt, which is really, really awesome. And you can find more on that Politoed on the article down below. It's All for Chestnut or something like that. I forgot the exact title. That's where I got it from. So moving on, we have Raichu, and now Raichu was definitely something I was considering. I originally had Mega Maneceric in the slot. You know, my original team was actually advanced weather. It was rain plus electric terrain, and I just didn't really like the way the team was fitting into place, so I decided to get rid of that and just go straight for rain. And I decided I wanted a lightning rod user who could abuse the rain, so I settled for Raichu. You know, it gave me fake out, it gave me a lot of cohesion with Ludicolo. And I see the battle stopped. I'm just going to finish talking about Raichu real quick. It gave me, you know, a really good option against most leads, because with Ludicolo and Raichu, I can do double fake out. Raichu's also, without any boosts or anything, Raichu is the second fastest fake out user in the metagame right now, which is fantastic, so that's great. It also has pretty good coverage, but what I found is that it sort of falls a bit short of one-hit KOs. It's nearly a one-hit KO on Garchomp. You know, it misses out on some crucial things, which is why I ended up running Thunder. I normally wouldn't run Thunder, even though this is a rain team, because, you know, rain's not always going to be up, and especially if I do a Raichu and Ludicolo lead, you know, it's gonna be one of those weird things where I can't use my stab. But yeah, so that's Raichu. Pretty simple, you know, nothing really anything. I didn't really steal this moveset from anywhere. I just sort of made it up, but it's pretty standard, you know, it's really nothing crazy. So moving on, and I'll go over here and I'll start another battle. Ludicolo. Now this Ludicolo is what Green Irokex calced out from the national stream from Alex Oglos' team. So we don't know for sure if this is exactly what Alex runs, but this is what Green Irokex is thinking he runs. So so it's sort of like credit to him, and then also sort of credit to Alex, because that's where he got the inspiration from. So it's pretty bulky, and I really like it because you know, I originally had Mega Venusaur here, and that's right, you did hear me right, I had double Megas. I really like the option of double Megas, but, you know, I really like this thing. Assault Vest makes it super bulky. The EV spread, like I said, was from potentially that team calced out from Green Irokex. It's meant to survive a bunch of things. I believe it survives, I didn't put this in, I probably should have. I believe it survives Mega Kangaskhan's return pretty much all the time. Not that it can really do much back. Scald to an uninvested Kangaskhan will probably do a little bit more than half in the rain. But other than that, not really. When you're watching the battle, you might see that I have Hydro Pump. That's because I forgot to change it on the team on Showdown. I didn't realize that Hydro Pump was a Lombre exclusive move. I thought I'd be able to just like heart scale it on or something, so oh well. But in the rain, it provides the fastest fake out in the game, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's the fastest thing that can use fake out. I can live Mega Venusaur Sludge Bomb, which is really cool. It one-hit KOs Garchomp with Ice Beam, and it's very good against Mirror Rain, something that you need to do, because if they have a Venusaur, you know, you're going to have a really hard time beating that. So moving on, I got Hydreigon. Now, Hydreigon is probably the weirdest set on this team. It's weird because I run safety goggles, and the reason I run safety goggles is because in practice and actually at the event, there were so many Amoongus, and my team, while I do have Ludicolo, my team isn't really powerful enough to really deal with Amoongus quickly. So, you know, I was looking at it, I calculated it out, and I figured that Hydreigon would actually be the best, and it does handle regular Venusaur just as well, so that's sort of why I stuck safety goggles on it, to absorb sleep, to absorb pretty much anything Amoongus and Venusaur wants to do to me. Now, it doesn't do very well against Mega Venusaur because it does lack the power that is Draco Meteor, but it does pretty well. Now, the EVs that I got are from, let me look it up. It's just a forum post on Nugget Bridge. You know, I was researching and I found that, and I liked the spread. It outspeeds base 100s and positive base 80s. I think that's what it says. It says it down below, so just go check that out. Which is nice because, you know, Mega Charizard's base 100, so it outspeeds that. Kangaskhan's base 100, so it outspeeds that. You know, it's nice. It has a really good speed tier. As I said before, it handles Amoongus and Venusaur, and that was really the primary role because they would bother me with rain, so I wouldn't set up rain. I'd bring in the Hydreigon, kill them with Flamethrower, and continue on my day. It also survives Jolly Garchomp's Dragon Claw 100% of the time, and I didn't put this in because I didn't have room, but Adamant Garchomp's Dragon Claw 96% of the time, which is really, really good. However, the thing that I noticed at Worlds when I was going through the last chance qualifier was a lot of people were running banded Garchomp, which was very odd. You know, I never really came across them before, so that sort of EV spread was a little bit worthless at that point. I mean, it does one-hit KO Garchomp back, so if I got lucky, you know, there that is, you know, I didn't have to worry too much about it, but a lot of people were running banned, which was very odd. And finally, it one-hit KOs non-Rizzo Mega Mawwiles. Now, for those of you that might sound a little weird, Ray Rizzo is the 3-time world champion, and when he went to Virginia Regionals, and that article's down below as well, he ran a specific Mawile that was supposed to counter, you know, pretty much a lot of the special threats to Mawile, and it works really well. So the Flamethrower doesn't one-hit KO those, but it does one-hit KO pretty much every other Mawile in existence. So I'm going to get another battle up here. We have 3, so this is going to be the last one. And then finally, we're going to, well, we have 2 more. So we have Meowstic, not Mawile. Meowstic, I needed something that had Safeguard, could potentially set up Rain Dance, and things like that. So, you know, originally this was electric terrain, and then from there I sort of turned it into misty terrain because I thought it would be kind of cool to be basically have my whole team resistant to dragon, because that's what misty terrain would do. And Hydreigon is one of those Pokemon that is used a lot, and I thought that would be very useful. But, you know, the more I used it, the more I realized it really wasn't as effective, because I was also running it on Mawile, and, you know, I just didn't really like it, so I ended up just switching Meowstic to Safeguard. Now, the reason I use Meowstic over Klefki is because Meowstic does have access to Quick Guard and Helping Hand, and while I didn't really use Helping Hand as much, it is a very useful move, so that's why I would, you know, keep it in. Now, what this Meowstic does, now, I don't know where I got this Meowstic set from. A lot of people have somewhat sort of different variants, you know, max HP, a little less defense. I really don't know where I got this from, I'll be quite honest with you, but that's where I got it. That's what I'm running. I don't really know why. I can't say I know for sure, but it does help Ludicolo beat Talonflame because it blocks the Brave Bird and the Scald will 1-hit KO. It handles Charizard Y, and this is something that I would bring normally if I see that the team has Charizard Y. I'd probably bring Meowstic and Hydreigon. Meowstic will set up the Rain Dance, so the attack doesn't do as much damage, and stuff like that. It prevents status. It's really good. You know, a lot of teams are weak to Amoongus, and that's something that I really had to worry about, so that's why I ran Safeguard. I ran Mental Herb to prevent myself from getting taunted, because obviously I have no attacks. There would be nothing to help me there. So moving on, and it seems to be out of a battle, so I'm just going to put the first one back on if you guys don't mind, so you can watch it again. But the final Pokemon is Mega Mawile, and this is Ray Rizzo's set. It survives Zardy Heat Wave out of Sun, which is fantastic because I run Rain, so it survives it even better. It almost always one-hit KOs Tyranitar, and I think that's like a bulky Tyranitar. He says it in the article. And in the Rain, Tyranitar really doesn't have too much to say back to Mawile. I'd assume this, I wouldn't say this for a fact, but I'm pretty sure a Tyranitar's Fire Blast won't one-hit KO this thing. So you have a very, very good matchup against Tyranitar. You know, you may be wondering, why 52 attack? It doesn't really need max attack, and that's what he says, and I agree with him. It really doesn't need max attack. 52 attack is just enough to do everything. It still 2-hit KOs Charizard with Sucker Punch. It still does really good damage. More investment would guarantee some more KOs, but, you know, Tyranitar really has nothing on it. Charizard, when you're in the Rain, it really has nothing for you, so I didn't see any need running max attack at all, and it really enjoys the type synergy on my team. You know, Ludicolo's weak to poison, Mawile is immune. Hydreigon is weak to fairy, Mawile resists. You know, it has a really good dynamic with the team, and with Rain, it basically nullifies one of its weaknesses, making it only really weak to ground. Yeah, it's ground and fire, so yeah. So that's the team. I gotta be honest, I really don't like it. In terms of just looking at it on paper, it's actually a really good team. It has very good synergy. You know, I crafted it specifically to take to handle threats and stuff like that. And I made it so, you know, the type-wise, it's not too weak in really anything. There is a ground weakness, but I do sort of patch it up with Hydreigon and Ludicolo. There's really not really an electric weak. There's really no overarching weakness, but the issue with the team is that it didn't really fit my playstyle, and I lost a lot because of that. I wasn't really used to using that. I really should have played with it a little bit more. But that's the team. I think it has good potential. Maybe not with me. Maybe one of you guys want to try it out and tell me. But that really is the team. So I hope you guys enjoy this series. It's only gonna get more detailed from here on out. This is basically like a trial run to see what you guys think of it. Next week we'll probably be doing the Bridger Snow team that I use almost constantly on this channel. Whenever I don't have a team ready, I use that team and it never lets me down. So we're gonna analyze that team, and I'm gonna, you know, tell you guys why I made certain changes to the team that I did. And yeah, so thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I hope to see you guys at the next video. Peace.